Hey, Dragon Slayers. It has been about 3.5 hours since my last meal, and my blood sugar is 88. So, my last meal was actually not a very healthy one. I had a double decker burger with bacon and cheese and the bun and all the fixings, and I ate the french fries because they were really good. So, I'm traveling right now, and generally, when I travel, I don't watch my diet that closely. I will probably cheat on my diet throughout the coming days, but as soon as I get back in town, I will get right back to it. And that's the most important thing is consistency. So today's video is all about the reciprocal relationship between carbs and fats. It's time for a super important concept. Carbs and fats are oxidized reciprocally, and it is glucose, not fat, that controls fuel oxidation at all times. This is an absolute requirement because glucose storage, glycogen, is so tiny. We have very little space for glucose storage as glycogen. So the minute we start eating more glucose, we immediately have to burn more glucose. Conversely, as soon as we stop eating glucose, we immediately start burning more fat. Understanding this interplay between carbs and fats is absolutely essential if you want to understand what is required to increase fat oxidation. High carb diets can increase carbohydrate oxidation 10 times and decrease fat oxidation 10 times at the same time. If you want to get better at burning fat for fuel, the simplest and most direct strategy is to eat fewer carbohydrates. We are going to invoke the S.A.I.D principle, which stands for Specific Adaptation to Imposed Demand. For the first time, if you want your body to be better at burning fat, you only have to do one thing: eat fewer carbs. So we know that carbs are essentially the trigger that tells your body to start burning fat. In the previous videos that I've gone over, we explained how there's a very finite storage of glycogen. Your body can only store about 500 grams of glycogen total, which is not a lot. You can burn through all of that in a 24-hour period pretty easily. So fat is like your reserve tank, but it takes a lot longer to burn fat than it does to burn glycogen. So because of that, you've got to lower the glucose. Your body is always going to burn glucose first, no matter what, right? You got to really, really lower the glucose to force your body to start to burn fat in general. And there's also a research study that I've linked below, and it talks about how it has been known for many years that both carbohydrates and fats are important substrates for oxidative phosphorylation, not sure if I'm pronouncing that word right, and energy production in skeletal muscle. The oxidation of any one fuel at rest or during exercise does not occur in isolation. Many aspects of metabolism are simultaneously active at a given point in time. Both carbohydrates and fats are oxidized at rest to provide the energy required for basal metabolic processes in skeletal muscle. And there is a reciprocal relationship between the utilization of carbohydrates and fat. Fuel shifts occur at rest despite a general unchanged metabolic demand and are largely driven by the availability of substrate. For example, increasing the availability of blood glucose increases the uptake and oxidation of carbohydrates in skeletal muscle, while decreasing the availability of oxidation of fat with little change to the metabolic rate. So that is a super scientific jargon way to say if you want to be good at burning glucose, eat more carbs, eat more glucose, eat more things that break down into glucose. If you want to be better at burning fat, eat less glucose, right? And this is the entire principle of the low carb, high fat diets and just the low carb diets in general. In order to train your metabolism to be good at burning fat, period, you have to lower carbs. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Stay tuned. In the next video, I'm going to go over the 4 different types of metabolism and functions of eating and how they affect each one. It's going to be a really deep video. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.